All right, everyone, welcome back. So, the Carolina Hurricanes, a few days ago, have clinched the playoff spot. Now, I know I'm a little late to this, and I do apologize for that. This weekend was busy, and a lot of teams clinched on Thursday, so it gave me a limited amount of time having work on Friday and Saturday, and even having work tomorrow, too. So, I'm using Easter Sunday as my day to record all these videos. So, whatever day you're watching this, the Hurricanes clinched the playoff spot. They are currently 47, 21, and 7 for 101 points. They have scored 255 goals for 199 goals against for a plus 56 difference. They are 25, 9, and 4 at home, and they're 22, 12, and 3 on the road, and they're third in the NHL. So what's different for me about Carolina this year? To be honest, there's actually a few things. I am more confident in the goaltending than I was in previous seasons. And I gotta be honest, Kochetkov, Anderson, and Martin, that tandem rotation could be what gives the Hurricanes a severe advantage in the playoffs. It really could be, because you have three goaltenders there, maybe two, but three goaltenders there who are viewed as reliable, solid goalies who can win you in the playoffs. Kochetkov won this team in the playoffs. Anderson's won this team in the playoffs. Martin, not really, but still, there's still the option there. And that could really be what separates them from the other teams, because the other teams are going to be starting their starting goalie the majority of the playoffs. Like, they're not going to play their backup goaltender. That's probably not going to happen. However, with Carolina, they have that option. And additionally, too, I feel like the goal scoring is way better, because that seems to be what has dried up in previous playoff years. When you look at Florida, when they lost them in the conference finals last year, that was kind of a factor in why they lost that series, because all the games were just such low scoring, and Carolina didn't have that specific goal scorer to get them a clutch goal that they needed. With Jake Guentzel, that could change. So there's a lot of things here that I think are different with Carolina, and it really does kind of tell me that there is a possibility that they could really go further than that conference final. They could really go to a Stanley Cup final, and I'm all here for it. I would love to see that. So you get into their scores. Your leading scorer is, of course, Sebastian Aho with 71 games played, 32 goals, 51 assists for 83 points. Got to be one of the most underrated players in the NHL. It's not really even close. I'm a big fan of Aho. I have liked him for many years, and is a player who doesn't get a whole lot of points, doesn't really, he's never had a 100-point season in his career, I believe. I might be wrong on that, but I think I'm correct. He hasn't really been that kind of guy who's like, he's a leading candidate for the Hart Trophy. He's an elite, amazing player. And that's the thing about Carolina. They don't have a guy that does that. They don't really have a guy who is a Hart Trophy winner. Not even Jake Guentzel, the guy who they acquired at the deadline. He's not even that kind of player. But the thing is that this team plays as a team. They don't have that one-star forward that's just carrying them on. And I've talked about this in many different videos before, but that could be what really helps them, or that could be what really hurts them, depending on how you look at it. But nonetheless, Aho's had a great season this year. Really doesn't change anything on that front, and has been a player who definitely is deserving of the Canes' leading scorer. Second in scoring, I put an asterisk next to him because not all of these points were with the Hurricanes, but it's Jake Guentzel. Guentzel is now on this roster. He was acquired by the Hurricanes at the trade deadline, but Guentzel, 60 games played, 24 goals, 42 assists for 66 points with the Carolina Hurricanes / the Pittsburgh Penguins this season. So Guentzel's been a name that, again, coming from Pittsburgh, was a guy who was looked at as a very solid top six forward. And the thing is with the Penguins, he always showed up for him. He always gave his best. He always gave his last effort. And that's what tells me that Guentzel is really going to help out this Hurricanes roster. He's going to give them the clutch goals when they need them. And that is something that I said earlier on in this video, where this team has just lacked goal scoring in the playoffs. Guentzel could solve that problem very easily. He is a goal scorer by heart. I know he's not the leading scorer on this Hurricanes team, nor is he the leading scorer even on the Penguins, but he will get you those clutch goals in the playoffs. He absolutely will. And he's one of the guys that I'm really excited to see with this Hurricanes team in the playoffs. And as a Flyers fan, I don't know what I'd rather. It's kind of a lose-lose situation. You either play Carolina or you play the Rangers. I don't really know how you win that. But regardless, I'm afraid to play Guentzel in the first round. You got Seth Jarvis is third in scoring, and I feel like we should have removed how impressive Jarvis's year has been, overshadowing him with Gensel and Aho. Jarvis, 74 games played, 28 goals, 32 assists for 60 points. The Hurricanes have a record of like 41, 2-2 or something of that remark, where they don't lose often if Seth Jarvis scores a point. That's significant. That is very significant to the way how Jarvis is kind of valued to this Hurricanes team, and was a guy that we've seen them develop on the channel. He came up. He was drafted in 2020. I made videos on him, and now he's come up to his own here in Carolina, and it's impressive to see. It is, and I've really enjoyed Jarvis. He's become one of my favorite players on the Hurricanes too. And the value that he brings to this Canes team is unmatched compared to a lot of the players, not even just on the Canes team, but in the NHL, which is very impressive to see. Marty Necas, fourth in scoring, kind of had not really a down year, but a little bit overshadowed by other players on this roster. 69 games played, 23 goals, 29 assists for 52 points. Necas has had a really good season as well. He is expiring this coming season, so there is something to look at there. Necas, even though there was a little bit of argument the last time he was signed to a contract, I think there definitely will be a lot more of that heading into this offseason. There will be some interest in to see how much he's exactly going to get paid. But we'll obviously find out there if that is the case with Necas. And finally, fifth in scoring is Teuvo Teravainen of the a forward. 70 games played, 21 goals, 26 assists for 47 points. Again, Teravainen, another impressive player, arguably one of the best in the Canes history. He's been here for a long time, a very experienced player, has been here for all the Stanley Cup run, or not the Stanley Cup runs, all of the conference finals runs. Sorry, we're not there yet. But all of the conference finals runs, and has been a player who has been impressive every single year, and, he's definitely going to be a part of that team for the future. So yeah, those are the forwards that are leading. I know there's other guys that are on this roster who have been impressive, like their captain, Jordan Staal. I get the Staal brothers mixed up. Jordan Staal. You also have, obviously, Stefan Noasin. Guys in the defense like Slavin, Orlov, Pesci. There's plenty of names there that have been important this year. And then the acquisition of Evgeny Kuznetsov, too, really helps the secondary scoring. I think that's going to help them out a lot. And again, Kuznetsov has been a guy who has been clutch. With the Washington Capitals, he was a player who was really clutch for them. Now, I'm not saying that he will be like that for the Hurricanes, because obviously the last time he was clutch for the Capitals was like 5 or 6 years ago. But regardless, Kuznetsov could be a good fourth-line center depth, third-line depth. That's something you need on a playoff team. And he brings that experience too. He's been in the NHL for a very long time. Your goaltending now, moving into that. I got Kochetkov and Anderson here as my goalies. I didn't want to put Martin in, even though he's played more games, because I feel like what they're going to run heading into the playoffs is probably a Kochetkov-Anderson tandem. I have no idea who they'll start, but it's probably going to be those two goalies. Kochetkov, 19, 13, and 4, a 2.45 and a .908. He's in his rookie season. I made a video on him a few days ago. But nonetheless, still a very impressive player for the Hurricanes this season. Has been a guy that I've really enjoyed. And I'm hoping that with Kochetkov, he's had some really good playoff success in previous years. Even though there's been his moments, he's had some good playoff success, and hopefully that will continue for him in this year's playoffs. And they're going to need him to step up too. They are. They really are. They can't be having what happened last year. They just can't. Freddie Anderson is your other goalie. He's 11-1-0, which I thought was interesting. For a 1.88 and a .930 save percentage. So again, the asterisk there is that Anderson has not played that many games. He was out with injuries. So obviously, with that being said, your stats are going to be much better than other teams in the NHL. But Anderson still has been a good goalie. I do think that they could lean him as the starter heading into the playoffs. I think they go Kochetkov, but they could lean to him as starter. We'll obviously see if that's what comes into fruition. But yeah, overall, I like Anderson a lot. Has been a guy that I've enjoyed. And I'm glad that he came back from injuries and fought that back and has come into his own here back again with Carolina. So, that being said, how far do I think the Hurricanes will go? I really do think this team could go on a cup run. I think a lot of people not really overlook Carolina, but they view the Rangers and the Bruins and, the teams in the West as well as teams that really could go on a run and win the Stanley Cup. I think Carolina is kind of that sneaky pick. They have been for a few years now. They're always a team that goes far but just can never get over that hump. I really do think that does change this year. And I think if they lose in the first round or they lose in the conference finals again, that's a wasted year. I think it is. But overall, this Hurricanes team, very solid offense, great defense, and a really good goaltending triangle that could do them some damage in the playoffs. But yeah, the Hurricanes have clinched the playoff spot. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe down below. I would greatly appreciate it. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the playoffs this year, so anything is appreciated. But regardless, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.